In one study on the mind, an app was downloaded onto the phones of 250,000 contributors. The app would ask people at random points in the day 3 questions. How are you feeling right now? What are you doing right now? And are you thinking about something other than what you are doing right now? The data gathered came to this conclusion. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. Our minds wander constantly, rarely focused on the task at hand. If we are aware of how often our minds wander, and are able to tame our monkey mind, according to this study, we will end up leading happier lives. Meditation is something we have all tried. We know the benefits of reduced stress and anxiety, better sleep, more clarity, and less reactive behaviour, but we rarely make it a habit. This morning, I did a guided meditation. I felt like I had come home and unplugged myself from the torrent of thoughts that had been tormenting me over the past week. And I was able to sustain this clarity of mind for the rest of the day, keeping attention on the awareness that is at the core of my being. Stress dissipated, and I could finally see and think clearly. In this video, I'll give you 5 reasons you should meditate every day for a more tranquil and fulfilling life. After doing the guided meditation, I sat down to do some morning pages. Morning pages is an exercise created by the author Julie Cameron. You write a stream of consciousness in your journal every morning, first thing, and see what gems of inspiration come through. Doing this with a clear mind means your writing comes out of presence. If your mind is busy, you'll write down the same repetitive thought patterns that have played on loop. There is no room for new ideas or insight if your mind is running on its own. Start from a place of stillness, so creativity can come from the heart, not the mind. What you write in these pages could inspire the day's direction. It is like a rocket, thrusting you into the day. Don't start with a broken and used rocket. Start with a fresh, brand new rocket so you can reach the stars. The spiritual teacher Mooji said, "The greatest step towards a life of happiness and simplicity is to let go. Trust in the power that is already taking care of you spontaneously without effort. Creativity comes from letting go." Mooji said, "Mind is there, in front of you. Don't log in." So instead of allowing yourself to get caught in the whirlwind of thoughts that normally start your day, choose to start from a position of clarity. Don't log in, and allow your natural creativity to be let loose. Are your shoulders hunched? Is your jaw tight? Forehead wrinkled? Teeth clenched? These are all signs that you aren't present and are listening to the thoughts in your head. When I say listening, I don't mean the kind of listening one does when another person is talking. That kind of listening requires one to be present for the other person. Whereas when we listen to the thoughts in our head, we don't even realize we are believing in an entity that doesn't care about our well-being. You could go for a few days or a whole week completely trusting and believing in every thought that pops into your head. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Listening to every thought is the consequence of living an unexamined life, and this can be remedied with meditation. Most thoughts are negative. The monkey in your mind wants you to feel bad about yourself, anxious and guilty. That is what it is programmed to do, as it strengthens an ego identity, a story about who you are and your place in the world. This story is fiction. You don't have to believe in it. We are constantly on the surface of the ocean, battling the waves. But when we meditate, we go deep down into the depths of the ocean. There it is still, quiet and calm. We might get distracted by the turbulence on the surface, but there is always the depth of the ocean to come back to. And the surface of the ocean is such a small part of the ocean. Do you really want such a small part of your experience, your thoughts, to dominate your life? There is so much more to you than you think. The reason I say meditation is a reboot is because you clear the thoughts in your head, the unnecessary data which is slowing your computer down, and come out of your practice with an improved operating system. You are no longer bogged down by your raging monkey mind. You are here and now. You are always here and now, but now you recognize it. You only have so much time on this planet, and your mind often doesn't care about your best interests. It enjoys high dopamine activities like using social media, watching YouTube, playing video games and eating junk food, and it likes the sound of its own voice. The more you listen to your thoughts, the louder and more incessant they will get. How can you figure out your priorities, what you want to do with your time, if your mind won't shut up? But, you might say, I need to think of my plans for the future. I need to figure out the trajectory of my life. I need to be successful in my endeavours. I can't just sit and meditate. The spiritual teacher Alan Watts said, "Don't hurry anything. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about what progress you're making. Just be entirely content to be aware of what is." I've experienced this recently, where planning for the future had turned into worrying about the future, and I wasn't aware of what I was doing and where I was moment to moment. I was only aware of what isn't, the tasks I hadn't got done, my regrets, my anxieties. If only I'd been content to be fully where I was, because planning for the future is pointless if when the future arrives you can't be present. The golden rule to follow is this: be entirely present with what you are doing. Once your mind has stopped, there is a lightness and joy in the doing, an effortlessness, a peace. And there is a time and a place for planning, but be present with the planning. The spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle said, "In today's rush we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget about the joy of just being. The power for creating a better future is contained in the present moment. You create a good future by creating a good present." Imagine someone stands on your toe by accident. The normal response is to get angry and maybe insult the person. But is this really a reasonable course of action? They didn't mean to hurt you, and they are more than happy to apologize. Do you need to flare up in frustration? Meditation allows you to be aware of how sensory data, your toe hurting, and the ability to choose how you respond to it. To someone who is unconscious, an unpleasant sensation can lead to thoughts about how you are a victim, which leads to feelings of inferiority and anxiety. Break the chain, be there with the sensation, and allow the initial feelings of anger to dissipate. You might argue that it isn't that easy to drop anger. Imagine a couple having a heated argument and the phone rings. The wife picks up the phone and talks to her friend in a calm demeanour, no hint of aggression. When she puts the phone down, she continues arguing with her husband. When forced to drop the anger, she did it for the short phone call. We must take responsibility for the fact that we fuel our emotions with our thoughts. If we stop thinking negatively, we can stop feeling unpleasant emotions and be more cool and collected. Meditation is a superpower in this respect. It allows us to have a moment before we react to something. Being in tune with our bodies gives us this power, and this can only be done with meditation. We don't see things as they are. We see everything through the mind. Instead of seeing another person, we see our judgments and opinions about them. We are carrying mental baggage about everything and everyone, everywhere we go. Meditation is an invitation to drop that baggage, to see everything like it's the first time you are seeing it. This is called beginner's mind, where you approach every situation with a freshness, clarity, and curiosity. If you hold on to your thoughts about the world, you'll never be able to learn anything new, or, more importantly, fully be here and now. Seeing things clearly means we experience more beauty and joy. Imagine you are looking at a beautiful sunset. Instead of being there, a witnessing presence of the sunset, you think about the previous sunsets you've experienced, and how you feel about this one in comparison. You then talk to your friend about the sunset. You have lost the moment you had of no thought. You are compelled to label the experience, and interpret it through your life experience. The mind filters the world through its database. Any experience is digested not as something new and beautiful, but as something related to a memory, or as a catalyst for thinking about the future. If you meditate, you are less likely to fall into this trap of interpreting the world through your mind. I hope this video has inspired you to start a meditation practice. For a more in-depth look at meditation, watch my video called A Case for Mindfulness. I wish you luck on your meditation journey.